Well, about the genre of an academic writing, we say there are many different genres. We have examples of them: essays, case studies, book reviews, laboratory reports, and a lot of more genres. There's a lot of information here in these slides. You are not supposed to, let's say, know all the details about all of them. You can use them sometimes as reference. So you need to have only, let's say, an understanding of them, only knowing them, but not detailed understanding. And about the tone of an academic writing, we say a tone of an academic essay must be concise, objective, and formal. But what do you mean by these? Let's mention some of them. We say by concise, we mean it has to be brief and to the point. For example, make your points straight away, replace phrases with single words. So, when we talk about being concise, we mean avoiding verbosity. By verbosity, we mean explaining things in too many words. So you need to try to explain things, let's say, as short as possible, in the fewest, let's say, number of words that is possible. You will have to avoid circumlocution. And again, the circumlocution is the same thing that I mentioned about verbosity. We say omit unnecessary words and avoid saying the same thing twice. You can find examples of each of these things from inside the book. And then about being objective, we said that generally the language of an academic essay must be objective. That means it must be based on facts. It must be factual information rather than your mere opinions. So one thing, for example, treat gender equally. What do you mean by this? For example, instead of saying a salesman or a saleswoman, you'd better say a salesperson. Refrain from using value judgment words. These are the words that highly depend on your personal opinion. An example is wonderful. When you call something wonderful, this is a judgment word. And use specific ideas. Use citations. Avoid using first person. Why do we avoid using first person I? Because as we said, the language must be objective. When we say I, it seems like this is something that is my personal opinion. So you'd better avoid using I in academic essays. And it's not to be totally avoided, because sometimes you are writing a persuasive essay in which you express your opinion, but you're not going to use this I a lot even in that persuasive essay, since it has to be supported with information and evidence from other sources, and express points directly. And it also has to be formal, which means refraining from using contractions, exclamation marks, and slangs. This is about the language that you use. Well, there are many different types, and each type of these essays have their own descriptions, have their own features. We have, for example, academic essays. We have reports, business reports, laboratory reports. We have a short description of each of these types. As I told you, you are not supposed to know every single detail about all these types, because in ULAB 21-22 we are focusing on only academic essays. We will talk about the structure of academic essays. We will later talk about the details of that, but for the rest, you can only use the slides and the tables as a reference. So later, if you need, for example, to know about each of these types, you can refer to them and you can study about them. So in the next slide, we also have some other types: research proposals, literature reviews, dissertations, article critics, and let's say other types, including their features. Well, let's talk about types of academic essay, because as I told you, this is something that we are going to focus on. Academic essays can be generally categorized into four main types. We say they can be narrative essays, descriptive, expository, or persuasive. Previously, we have talked about narrative and descriptive, and you are actually expected to be familiar with these types of essays. But very quickly, I will have a review of them. By narrative essay, we mean a piece of writing in which we talk about an event, for example. What happened, for example, on your last vacation. When you write an account of, for example, a period of time about, for example, what you did, what happened to you, this is a narrative essay in which you express the actions or the events in a chronological order, that means in the order of time. And by descriptive essay, we mean an essay in which we describe something, in which we use adjectives, we use more subjective language. So because this is descriptive, and now we focus a little more on expository and persuasive essays. But let me tell you some things. There are two terms that you need to know. One of them is objective, one is subjective. Whenever we say that something has to be objective, it means it has to be based on factual information, not your opinions. But subjective writing and language is based on your own personal opinion or idea. And in an objective essay, we try to, let's say, use fewer adjectives and adverbs, while in subjective essay, because this is based on our own personal opinion, we are allowed to use many different adjectives. Well, argumentative essays, there are two more things that sometimes cause confusions. Sometimes we have also argumentative essays. Argumentative essays are, let's say, part of expository essays. But there is a small difference. As you can see, they differ a bit in length and the amount of research required. What do you mean? We mean argumentative essays are lengthier because we need more, let's say, details. We need more, let's say, evidence. That's why we need to do more research in an argumentative essay. And also, problem solution essays are considered persuasive types. Well, let's talk about expository essays. The language in an expository essay has to be objective, because in an expository essay, unlike the persuasive essay, we try to bring information. We try to, let's say, inform the audience about something. So it has to include some grounded information, which means information that has already been proved. It has to include factual information. So you're not allowed to bring your personal opinion in an expository essay. And it requires valid and objective evidence to support the information. The purpose is to inform, as I told you, the audience. And examples of these types of essays are how-to essays. By how-to, for example, you can search about how to write an essay on the internet. The essay that you will get on the internet is considered an expository essay because it is giving you information about how to do something. So all the how-to essays are expository essays. And we say any kind of essay that focuses on objective observation of a certain issue, which can be a problem, it can be a trend, or anything in the society. That is an expository essay.